The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good Friday morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN just after 9 a.m. Eastern Time. We got about 24 minutes to go until the start of trading. And right now, you're looking at an S&P positive by 11 points. We give back some of the gains. You were as high as 62.20, but markets in the green right now. But you're coming into pre-market session lows since the acceleration right at about last night at about 2 a.m. As in, you get below that chop, you were as high as 62.20. We have some economic data this morning. China optimism on that deal, accelerating markets higher. And boy, S&P's up by 11, NASDAQ 100. We're up by 40 points right now, or 0.2%, 22,709. Dow up about 0.3%, 119 points, 43,837 in the Russell, up by 0.3% as well, up 6 points, 2193. Crude just chopping around right after that deep move from Sunday at 78 to Monday at 65 and change, and that's where we've been shopping. 65.74 crude, technically positive by 50 cents, but yeah, just hanging around that number, slightly elevated from the 64 handle you've had. 65.74. Now let's get into the meat of everything. Yields, dollar, and how about gold? Gold trading dramatically lower today, off $70. We'll get to that in a moment. But right now you're looking at a 10-year yield, 4.26, okay? 4.26, the yield on that 10-year, the dollar right now. Pushing those lows, and even on a dramatically weak dollar, okay? No one's buying gold right now, man. Watch out. Gold, look at this run. It's happening as we speak. Gold down $72, man. These are 5-minute bars. As I was getting on the air at 9 o'clock, you trade down to 32.73 right now. We put gold on a daily. And yeah, we're probably heading for 3,200 at least on the gold contract. 3,000 is not out of the question for you gold bulls out there, okay? Jump over to silver. And I'm a gold bull longer term as well, but shorter term, you got to digest some of these gains. A pullback right now. Silver, that's your weekly. Let's put it back to a daily. And yeah, only back to where we were a couple days ago on silver, 36.10. You see the difference in gold, right? Even versus silver. Look at that breakaway on gold right now, down $73, and I would not be surprised if gold finishes even below where we are right now with the acceleration off by 2.2% right now. We jump over to copper, off about 1.6% right now. All right, let's jump into the economic data this morning. So we have PCE. This is the Fed's preferred inflation gauge, falling 0.3%, okay? The Fed's preferred core, when you minus food and energy, rose 0.2%, slightly more than expected, though just in line. Okay, so the spending coincides with declining consumer sentiment across the board as well. And yeah, wages climbed 0.4% for the second month, extending a recent run of solid increases, wages going up. Inflation data showed goods prices, excluding food and energy, increased 0.2%. A slight deceleration from a month earlier. Core services edged up just 0.1%. Man. So the market digests that. A little bit of a chop on the heels of that number that we get at 8:30. There's your volatility on that number, right? A little bit of higher price, actually lower yield coming in. But we'll see if that gives way. But nonetheless, that's been the trend recently. You give it up a bit, and we get more economic news, and that economic news is pointing towards the ability to cut. And on the heels of that, you got dollar weakness, man, with the dollar pushing 97 on that news as well, going back to where we were. There's your 8:30 volatility. You drop from 97.20 to 97. Everything seems to be lining up, and boy, as I mentioned, and we've been talking about it, okay, do not expect that somehow you get a weak dollar. They have decoupled, as we're talking about. But gold, when you put it in this context, You'd have to get back down to this consolidation that we're in the beginning of the year to even approach a 382. And the consolidation late last year, that's a 50% of the run we had. It's been a mammoth move. If you started from 1800, if you go even more conservative when the run began in February, you're talking about 3,000 is the 382 on golds. And this consolidation could bring you back to the 618. And maybe that's the next acceleration higher. 2,800 to 3,000 though. You better believe it's possible when we're down $75 with no movement in the dollar. Okay, no movement in the dollar. Yeah, imagine if the dollar was strengthening. And at some point after this pullback, the dollar will strengthen. And maybe that's what brings us back down to that 3,000 to 2,800. Gold down $74 on Friday. S&P's up 10. We'll come right back, folks.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to do it right. But you're not most people, are you? At TFNN, you'll get the guidance you need to refine your strategies and techniques to invest like a pro. Because you'll be a pro. All TFNN subscriptions, books, software, and courses are available at TFNN.com. And I'm even going to tell you how to get them for less. Use TFNN's Tiger Dollars and you'll get up to a 20% bonus on your purchase. And once you apply them to your account, Tiger Dollars are automatically used for all future or recurring charges. Tiger Dollars also never expire, are fully transferable, and are a great way to add savings to your newsletters or services. Become the investor you were born to be at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This portion of the Morning Market Kickoff is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Welcome back, folks. We keep our eye on gold. Gold off $74.40 right now, 2.2%, $32.73. We check in on Nike. So Nike with their numbers last night. You jump over. We're going to trade higher by 10% right now in the open. You're trading at 69.20. You close at 62.54. You're up by almost $7 right now for Nike shares. You get into the Nike numbers, and they expect sales and profit declines to moderate ahead. Yeah, after they took its biggest financial hit yet from the turnaround plan during the fiscal fourth quarter. With the new tariff rates in place today, we estimate gross incremental cost $1 billion is the number there. 16% of the supply chains in China, and they expect to reduce that to the high single-digit range by the end of the current fiscal year. Yeah, watch out, China. Earnings 14 versus 13, revenue a slight beat. And yeah, it was all about what they're going to do going forward. Quite the volatility, right? During the quarter, Nike's profits fell a staggering 86%. And, profit sometimes when you got a turnaround versus revenue. Nike direct revenue fell 14%, led by a 26% drop in digital sales and a 9% decline in wholesale. Whew. Nike stores, though, rising 2%. They got a problem in digital, right? And they're getting away from that. Trying to. Not get away from it, but they're focusing on those stores. So the $1 billion, they intend to fully mitigate that cost over time as it tweaks the supply chain, works with factories, and that's where you get an acceleration on this equity. You're up by 10%. You take a look at the daily, though. I was watching this last night. I got it on a short-term time frame, right? Spike to that line. I said, what's that line on my chart? Where did that line come from again? Not exactly a channel, but boy, it might be the upward boundary of a channel. Where exactly the bottom is? See if I gotta go back further. Oh, wow, that's where it is. Look at this. There it is. And maybe it's a best line fit somewhere there, right? It looks pretty close. So we'll see if we can break above it. But Nike, they're going to get a lift. You were at $52 in April. You're going to open at about $70 on their earnings. All right, we take a look at Amazon shares. Quite the acceleration yesterday. You're going to open up 1% right now. Check it out. You're pushing 220 pre-market. You're at 219.51 for Amazon shares right now. Yesterday, on a volume basis, not as strong as where we were last Friday. But that volume, outside of last Friday at the lows, okay, but you're coming into the high of June 10th, the high of June 11th. Those highs, 216.78. We closed at 217.12. Okay, the tail was as high as 218.40 on June 11th when you did 39.3 million shares. Yesterday, trading higher, 50.5 million shares. Now, yeah, doesn't compare with June 20th on last Friday. Now, that was triple witching. We had a lot going on that day. But as you can see, we got above that level. And where are we going to be today? We're going to be at 219. You back Amazon out. 242 is the all-time high. You jump over to NVIDIA. You're going to open by $1 higher for NVIDIA shares. Most expensive company in the world. Microsoft close on the heels. Microsoft actually going to be in the red this morning. Let's check it out. All right, not sure what hit at 9 o'clock, but there's some volatility for you. From 497 to 494, Microsoft down by $2 on the open. It looks like Google shares trading higher. Barely by a few pennies to 175 this morning. You jump over to Oracle shares up to 213. You look at some of these accelerations, folks. I was looking at this earlier. April at 120, pushing 220 for Oracle. My goodness. And yeah, quite the earnings season, but you came into those earnings up almost 50%. Some of these runs. We jump over to Boeing shares this morning. Boeing going to catch a lift by about $3. There you go. Up to 205.70. Yeah, Disney's on quite a run as well. Now, Disney, So we're getting above the highs of late 2024. That was the high of the beginning of the year as well. Coming into the highs of March 2024. You trade up there on a weekly basis, 50 million. Pull back with 70 million. Going to open barely higher today. You're not going to have the volume today. You're at 34 million. And it's a Friday. You'd be lucky. On a big, strong day yesterday, we did 10 million, and that's nice. Look how we took out these prior highs on Disney. You were coming into highs of about 9.5 million. Yeah, you take it out on 10.5 million shares, but on a weekly basis, you're going to need some strength, and you can back it up even further than that, right? You're going into this area. August 2022, you get as high as 123.27. We closed, look at this, we closed basically within pennies of where we are right now. But that bar had 121 million shares on a weekly basis. There it is right there. You look at that type of a spike on their earnings, but hey, it's taken 2.5 years, but we're trying to break above that level yet again. On a technical basis, though, this is a very important area. This 120 area, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, you could call it even 5. This is the 6th time that we've challenged that line. And you can see how many times we've challenged that line, and boom, you lose 25% or even 30% in the equity in a heartbeat. 120 to 90 has been the range. And that's for the better part of, 3 full years on this equity, on Disney. But man, you break above this area, you do it with strength. Look at that, it's even more. 120 is the area since 2015. Yeah, remarkable. 10 years. July 2015. July 2015, man, a high of 122.08. So that 10 years of building cause with a little bit of extra exuberance with the market post-COVID. Boy, if that's what it is, can you imagine? And if this makes that run, you're talking about move of like $90. Maybe that brings you back to these highs. Disney's looking strong, man. On a weekly basis, you need more volume. We're coming into summer trading, though. But boy, you look at that chart. On a longer term basis on Disney, if you liked it 10 years ago at $121, you're going to love it in the year 2025 at $125. That's not how it works, folks. I kid. But nonetheless, Disney, yeah, we're making quite a stride. Last couple months, look at those 2 monthly bars. Those 2 monthly bars stand out. Like, you got a couple here, and then you got the COVID run in December 2020. All right, folks, we're coming back with the opening bell. S&P's up by 11. Don't go away.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We got equities open and markets get back some of those gains on that 8:30 volatility on the inflation and economic data, but nonetheless, S&P is positive by yet again, and that would be an all-time high open, right? 6206. S&P's up by 0.2%. NASDAQ 100 up by 0.2% as well. Dow up by 0.4%, and the Russell up by about 0.2%, up 6 points. We check back in on gold. It's not stopping, man. We just hit 32.66. Whew. Sometimes, what do they say, right? Even in gold, take the stairs up, the elevator down. It's one of those days, man. Friday in gold, right? I remember how many times my dad used to talk about it. Fridays in the gold market, man. Boy, you talk about a move right now. Looking at the volume on this thing. On a 5-minute basis, yeah, you lightened up a bit on the last 5-minute bar, but we just started this bar. Look at, all right, maybe there's getting a little bit of acceleration. Let's go to a 15-minute. Some strong volume numbers, man, coming into these low numbers. Look at the volume we've had since that 8:30 even inflation data. All right, let's jump around to some of the equities driving this market. Amazon up by 1.8%. Hey, Bezos is getting married, man. Let's go. Let's get it going. Let's get the rally going for Mr. Bezos in Venice, right? Why not? Microsoft up by 0.2%. Let's check in on Tesla shares. Down by 1.3% this morning. Walmart with a strong lift there, up by 0.9%. Always interesting. There's so many factors going on in the market right now. You have the China news in terms of a deal. And then and Walmart is not rare earths. Okay, you talk about car companies, etc. But on the heels of the deal being made, Lutnick out there talking about a deal. That Trump said he signed a deal with China, and then you have good news as well. China confirms breakthrough on the rare earth exports to the U.S. This is one that has the potential to derail everything, because that's the best card that China basically holds in their negotiation. China on Friday pledged to approve export applications for rare earths to the U.S., easing a major irritant. Now, previously, they had stated this, okay, but it's going to be on like a 6-month basis, I believe. I wonder if they say it in here. And so it gives them to reapprove that. So that's going to be on the table continually. Doesn't mean things are going to flare up, but it's one thing to consider that those licenses, etc., going to be on a short-term rolling basis for approval. Nonetheless, good news. And the market picks up. What gets in front of this market right now? We'll see. Because even with the Fed, it looks like they're on path to begin in September. 2 meetings. And if that's where you are and you get a next Fed chief, think about it. This is where the Fed goes, okay? Because this is where my mind is going. And some of this is already baked in as we have the 10-year approaching 4.25%. Okay? yet again this mark, right? We're in an area that's been tough to get above, as yields can drop to a level of about 4.25%, higher price, lower yield. You know, you got way below that in April. We got way below that to like 3.6, 3.7% on the 10-year coming into the election. Things reversed wildly when we expected inflation from the tariffs and higher yields, etc. You see the reversals, but this has been an area right now and we're reversing a bit. But nonetheless, we're talking about a 10-year. And we're probably approaching 4.3 actually right now. Let me pull it up. We were approaching 4.25. But yeah, you're at 4.29. Okay, 4.29 right now. But imagine if Chairman Powell, because this I think is coming down the line, seems like they're laying the groundwork. Chairman Powell did not feel like he was going to be comfortable putting out the message that a cut was coming down the line next meeting. He used the phrase a couple months of data. So that sets the stage for September. The next meeting, July 29th and 30th, and then they go into the middle of September. It's about every 6 weeks. So if that's the case, and they come with a cut in September, and then immediately following that, you get a new nomination somewhere in October or November, slightly ahead of pace as usual, that they'll come in as the new Fed chair in May, I think there's room to run with lower yields in this market. Inflation's always going to be out there, but the data that we're getting right now, there's wage data that's growing, but the inflation data is not just there yet. And you already have 2 Fed governors talking about potentially moving next month. Chairman Powell pushing back. But if you're just seeing the battle is now, whether they're going next month or in 2 months, and then you get a new Fed chair in 11 months, inflation would really have to rise to meet the demand of where this Fed is and where the incoming Fed chair will probably be, with the 10-year sitting right now at approaching 4.3. Imagine that's going to be higher price, lower yield, will be kind of the wind at the back, and inflation will matter. But with that as the context, right? Higher price, lower yields. You have a market that is ready for lower yield to come at you, man, with the S&Ps up by 10 and tensions easing abroad. Check in on the car companies. Ford up 0.8%, GM up by 1.3. Check in on the travel companies. Delta basically flat, down by 0.2% right now in the red. United flat this morning. American Airlines up by 0.4%. JetBlue shares flat at $4.21. 1 penny more than it will cost you to ride in a Tesla self-driving vehicle right now. All right, look at Kohl's. Up by 3.6% for Kohl's. Checking on some of the other retailers. TJX. Boy, that was some big volume at the low yesterday. That's the only dicey part. You know, we've talked about this trade into the lower channel line. But boy, you trade down there and you do reject it a bit. On 8 million shares on a daily, jump to a weekly. That's going to have some strong volume this week. We got a full day of trading coming into Friday. It's going to be the most volume we've traded in a few weeks. You're at 25 million or so, and you're at 22. What are we doing on a daily? It's huge volume yesterday. Yeah, you're going to come in at 4 million or so. 3 or 4 million, at least 4 million on a Friday. Strong looking equity, though, even as we pull back to the bottom line of that channel on TJX. Okay. Gold finds a little bit of a bid. You got some buyers coming in at 9:30 on the open. That's a 5-minute bar. I'm watching this second bar, though. We only got about a minute and a half left, and you've done less than 2,000 contracts. Jump over to silver this morning. Yeah, down by 2.2%. Gold right now, down by 2.2% as well. Platinum, down 5.6%. They're selling the metal. Stay tuned, folks. S&P's up by 15. We're coming back.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the Opening Call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening Call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
$16. NASDAQ 100 up by 63. We check in on NVIDIA shares. Up another $1, up a 0.7%. NVIDIA right now. How about it? We're talking about $3.805 trillion. All right, forgive me. Jumping around to everything going on. Silver down 2.2%, as I mentioned. All right, let's see what else we got pulled up for action. Well, you want to know some action, folks? How about the World Series of Poker going on? Now, this is a good one. They've got right now a $50,000 Poker Players Championship. And the cool part about this one is that I believe they're playing 7 different games, including no limit hold'em, limit hold'em. I think there's 7 card stud, pot limit Omaha, Raz might be in there, and you're talking about 50 grand for an entry, 107 entrants, prize pool of 5.1 million, And they played until like 3 in the morning local time last night to get it down to the money where there's 17 players left. And third in chips is Michael Mizrachi. Remarkably, he's won this tournament 3 times already. He's going for the 4th time he would won this particular tournament. And you're talking about payouts for the winner? $1.3 million. Now, there's a lot of tournaments handing out $1.3 million in the World Series, but not for only 107 players. Yeah, maybe when you're talking about much larger fields. Now, what's remarkable is I talked about it yesterday, and this is just a lesson in when there's cash involved, okay? And this one is an interesting one in terms of, I talked about it yesterday, and first there were allegations that there was collusion in, I believe, the $50,000 pot limit Omaha tournament. And the lesson is, folks, anytime there's $2 million up for grabs, you better believe that some people will do anything, okay? Now, this one is not unethical to a certain degree. You make the call, okay? Here's how it goes. Club WPT Gold, which I am not endorsing in any way. I've never played on it. It's an online poker site that operates with a sweeps coin model, which is basically they create it like it's a sweeps coin, basically fun game, and meanwhile you're playing for real dollars. It's a bit of a loophole in online poker these days. Nonetheless, if you won a tournament there, they ran a promotion that you got what's called a gold pass or something. And then if you won a World Series of Poker bracelet, you won an extra $1 million was the promotion. Well, what happens is, one guy already did that this summer. He had the gold pass, whatever they call it, the golden ticket. He won the World Series. This guy, they make it to heads up. Bottom line is this tournament, they make it to heads up. And the guy who has the $1 million bonus, okay, is in second place. And basically, they probably made a deal. And it would make sense to make a deal because imagine, they're playing a tournament. Second place was already locked up $1 million. First place gets $1.3 million. So they're playing for $300,000 is all it is. They've each locked up $1 million, and the winner gets 1.3. So they're playing a $300,000 heads-up poker match at the end of the tournament. That's all it is, okay? If one guy wins, he makes $300,000. If the other guy wins, he makes $300,000 plus the extra $1 million. So what do? They make a deal, probably, allegedly, okay? And yes, the guy who got the bonus ended up coming back from like a 9-1 deficit. There were multiple hands that the guy who was leading seemed to make questionable re-raises and then would just fold, almost passing his chips across the table to the short stack. And nonetheless, now, in the context of it, right, the only person you could argue that was harmed is the site Club WPT itself, because they have to pay out the $1 million when realistically the gentleman might not have won. The tournament itself was not really compromised. People make deals all the time at the end of a poker table. The site could make that argument, but here's the last kicker. The site's going to pay out no matter what. They've already said it, because the amount of press they're getting from this alone is well worth $1 million when you think about what they put out and what's there. Excuse me. And maybe not the best practice for the integrity of those tables, allowing side things like that to exist. But nonetheless, it's the World Series. It's interesting. You got millions at stake. And for these gentlemen, this was only a $1,500 tournament, I believe. Okay, so this is not a $50,000 tournament. This was a massive tournament. Yeah, $1,500 no-limit hold'em shootout. Okay, so they've already locked up $1 million. They've had to beat out 1,300 players. And that's why I say, that other $50,000 tournament, they're playing for $1.3 million. But they only had 107 players. You have 1,300 players putting up $1,500. They make the final two. It's still a dramatic amount of money when you're talking about, I've played $1,500 tournaments in the World Series. I think I cashed in one. I did cash in one in a $1,500 World Series poker tournament going back in the day. And $300,000 up top. Nonetheless, millions of dollars. But here's the last part on the poker, all right? I've played at many stakes in poker, as low as you can go to as high as you can go in a reasonable basis. I've bought into $10,000 poker. I've played the main event, okay? it's all the same, which is interesting when you get into a tournament. Yes, there's very high-level play, but there's also very spewy, extremely bad play at almost any level. But you know what also exists? Suspect play at almost any level. And just keep even if you're in a casino, okay, there's always friends there. There's people slow playing each other. I actually won't play a lot of the pot limit Omaha games, and nothing against the guys in it. I don't know them at all. But the games itself are very friendly, as in people know each other. And when you're in a poker game with 7 or 8 people that are playing against each other every single day, and in a game like Omaha, you just want to keep your spikes up, folks, because I've been around poker enough to know even friendly games, right? Cash is cash, and people are going to come for that money. And the higher the value, the more likely they're going to do it. There's a lot of great poker players out there, too. But anytime you surround, whether it's in finance or in poker or anything, okay? It's nothing against poker at all. When you're dealing with millions, okay, thousands, 10,000s, whatever it is, people are going to seek an edge all the time. And that's always going to be present, of people trying to seek an edge. So be wary of it. Look at Amazon up by 1.8%. We jump over to NVIDIA shares, up by 0.4%. And the last part, the cool part about getting in those tournaments, online poker should be legal and regulated. Okay, I wish it was. You wouldn't have Club WPT running a sweeps coin model, which is just a backhole way of doing things for no reason. Okay. But it should be legal, because the way I played all those tournaments, the $10,000 tournament, I didn't put up 10 grand of my money. I won that entry for probably about $150. I enter a satellite tournament for $150, and you get something like 1 out of every 70 or 80 players gets a seat to the $10,000 main event. Okay, you can't do that in Hard Rock. Hard Rock doesn't run those. Online did. It was a great way to do it. All right, folks, we're coming back. We're going to talk just equities, no more poker. S&P's up by 19. NASDAQ up by 68. We'll be right back, folks.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. Netflix shares up $3.42. How about $13.12, man, on this equity? You talk about a run. Yeah, 162. And that's just about 3 years ago, man. And you're approaching 13. And look at the extension, even this week. Now, volume basis wise, just chopping around basically from May 19th. But since that time, we've traded all the way from about 1,200 to 1,310. And on a daily basis, you have Netflix shares trading at all-time highs. NVIDIA trading at all-time highs. We just hit 157 this morning. You jump over to Microsoft shares. All-time, did we get there? Wait a sec. Yeah, we sure did. All-time highs, 498.17 for Microsoft shares. Whew. You get there on Oracle? Not quite. Oracle, a few dollars off that price level. Jump over to AMD shares. Yeah, quite an acceleration, up by 1.3%. Some other tech stocks. Dell shares, quite a rebound from those lows, but negative today by 1.2% for Dell. Check back in on gold. All right, gold finds a little bit of a bid. I say that down $63, but we just bounced almost $20, man. 32.66 was the low, and yeah, there's your sign of strength, okay? You don't want to see gold go below this level, man. That was a nice sign of strength on the market open. Gold down 1.9%. Silver, exactly in line, down 1.9% right now for silver. Copper off by 1.3%. And yeah, platinum off by 5%. Check out platinum. How about that acceleration? 873 to 1440 in the matter of a couple months. The metals. All right, folks, look at this. S&Ps, we're accelerating, man. Nothing get in front of the chart. We just traded above where we were at 8 in the morning. S&P's up by 25 points right now. NASDAQ 100 up by 94. Folks, thanks so much for kicking your Friday off right here. Stay tuned. Basil Chapman's coming up next. We got our man Steve Rhodes with the Trader's Edge. Fast market at 12. Larry's coming back at 1, and I'll see you at 3 o'clock. Have a great Friday, everybody. Stay tuned for Basil.